What's up, YouTube? So today's topic, I'm gonna talk about most females are hoes, man. Let's get to it. So I'm not being biased or anything like that, but it's just funny how every time I go on social media or like I go to the gym or I go out in public places, even in the library or like just going shopping and stuff like that, just running errands and stuff like that. Um, most women I've seen and observed dress like whores because they either wear like really short booty shorts, they wear very tight leggings, um, and they show a lot of skin. Now, like I said, I'm a guy. I don't mind checking them out because I'm a I'm naturally attracted to a female body. But it's like, do females even get mad? Or because females, they used to be upset when they get objectified as sex objects, and when people view them a certain way based on their body. But it's just like, but look how you guys are. Look how females are presenting themselves. They show a lot of skin. They show a lot of ass. They show a lot of their cleavage and shit like that. They wear very tight leggings to where you can see their camel toe, you can see their thong, you can see their ass cheeks and shit like that. They wear very short shorts. Like, you have women that are young that do this shit too. Man, women who are like 18, even they dress like that in high school and middle school. As adults is like pretty bad. Most bars and clubs have women. Most of them drink and they go in groups and they just wear short shorts, and it's just it's weird. And now when I go to the gym, I always see females. They wear the same shit. The gym is a new strip club, man. Every day when I go to the gym, man, I always see or whenever I do go to the gym, I always see a female who wear very tight leggings. It's like you can see their ass crack, their fucking ass, just how their body is lining. Like, it's very tight. It's like a see through. You know, their skin is showing. They're wearing unnecessarily tight clothing that looks uncomfortable. But I'm like, dude, that's the type of shit females will be wearing at the strip club or when they're being prostitutes and shit like that. And when it comes to the dating market, women present themselves as prostitutes because they expect men to pay for their dates. They expect men to pay for their meals. They expect men to drive them everywhere. They expect men to provide for them, and in return for sex. That's no different than being a prostitute, and again, it's a societal programming, it's feminism, it's social media programming and shit like that. It's been going on for a decade, and over time it's building up because um, their parents, father figures, are not putting these females in their place. They're not putting their daughters in their place. They're not raising them right. They're spoiling them. They're spoiling them. They're forcing them to become entitled. They're not teaching them the values of how you should approach life, how you should conduct yourself as a female. I'm not having kids in this lifetime. I don't see myself having kids, but let's say worst case, I do have kids, specifically a daughter. Without a doubt, my daughter will not be hoeing around like that. My daughter will not be dressing how most females dress. My daughter will not be jumping from dick to dick. My daughter will not present herself as a prostitute and stuff like that. I will not have my kids, or especially my daughter, have access to social media until they're over 18. I will not give them a smartphone. And they do have a smartphone required by the school systems since everything is online apparently in AI. They're not going to be allowed to use social media. It's going to be blocked, and stuff like that. I'm not going to even teach them about social media like that. So I'll be very old school. And stuff like that. But I'm gonna teach them a lot of like life lessons and a lot of life shit that gets down, and the consequences of what happens if she wants to present herself as a prostitute, and we'll see how it will plan out. I will show her examples. I will show her the cons of it, But it just seems like I feel like a lot of people, especially me as well, we like to blame Gen Z, how like most Gen Z people are fucked up mentally. Let's be real. because they were born in the era to where they don't know what life is like without social media. I was fortunate enough to live life without social media, so I was fortunate to experience life playing tag, playing sports outside at the garage. Um, what else? Having sleepovers. Um, what else? Just shit like that. Going to going to the pool with your neighbors. It's like a community. Um, Ding dong ditching. Um, and I was in that timeline in my childhood. I played a lot of sports growing up in my childhood with no social media, so I was fortunate for that. But now as I'm getting older as an adult, I'm in that AI social media age. So I can see how it changes people. And I notice females in their early 20s, they're not socially, what's the word? They're not social. They're very socially awkward. They don't have emotional awareness or intelligence. They don't know how to communicate, and they're very arrogant, stuck up, and they don't know how to vocalize what the fuck is bothering them and stuff like that. It's just insane, you know. A lot of females are very narcissistic these days. They're very stuck up and arrogant, and they're very egotistical. Part of it is because they don't know how to socialize. Second is because the excess of access with social media, and the society requires social media all the fucking time and stuff like that. And just a lot of shit like that. It's weird. But yeah, but now when it comes to social media, you have OnlyFans, you have just other social media apps like Snapchat and stuff like that, and like because of social media, women try to find opportunities to make money because we're living in such a corrupt world to where, the corrupt government is taking a lot of people's money. They're raising the prices of rent and stuff like that. So I feel like part of it, at least in my opinion, I could be wrong, but I feel like that's why most females are doing OnlyFans or they're being a prostitute online just so they can make money, because it's the easiest way for women to make money. And again, logically, if you actually think about it, it makes sense because we have a lot of simps. We have a lot of dudes who are willing to pay to see a naked body online. Even if it's their fucking feet pics, they get paid for that, So women, they get a lot of money. Women, they're able to buy houses. They're able to make six figure incomes just by simply having OnlyFans and stuff like that. They no longer have to be a stripper. Even then, them being a stripper, they can make money like that. But they can simply have an OnlyFans. They don't even have to have sex like that. They don't have to like go out in real life and be a stripper. They can simply just twerk, dance, take off their clothes online on the OnlyFans on a monthly subscription, and they're able to make a living off of that. And again, logically, it makes sense for them to make money. It is what it is. At the end of the day, as human beings, we're in a timeline to where we are in survival mode. So we're not living at a high vibrational state because of corrupt government and stuff like that. And we were born into this mess. So human beings, we're still operating at a lower survival instinct pretty much. And which we're not meant to be like that, especially as time goes on. But this is why time is speeding up. The days are accelerating so fast. But again, so I see it from a higher perspective, but like, it's really hard, in my opinion, to really interact with women. It's hard for me to date women. And me, I study a lot. Like, I study a lot of women's psychology. I study a lot of dating education. I watch a lot of videos. I read a lot of books about dating education and stuff like that, about the women's psychology. I also try to mix it by studying behind closed doors, but also put myself out there to interact with females. And without a doubt, like a lot of females these days compared to back then, in these other generations, most females are more prone to betraying men. They're more prone to ghosting men. They're more prone to cheating. They're more prone to having a lot of body counts, like having sex with multiple men. Most females are more prone to use men. Most females are more prone to be narcissistic and dismissive, avoidant. Because of social media programming, the rise of the feminism movement, and the rise of societal programming on this shit they promote, and lack of parental figures, basically, so that's the cause of it, honestly. But it's just really jarring for me Every time I go to social media, every time I go out in public, there's always a female who present herself like a whore. You know, like let's being real. Like they present themselves like a whore. You know, look how they dress, look how they talk. Listen to this shit they say. Look at their mindset. Look at this shit they're watching. Look at the music that's been playing out. Look the shit that Meg Thee Stallion, Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, Rihanna, Beyonce. Look at the type of lyrics and the type of songs they're making, and a lot of females look up to them. You know, so it's just insane. You know, and it's funny how in other countries a lot of females are very they have stricter rules in different countries, but in America, women have so much freedom. Honestly, more than men, in my opinion, now these days. And look how they abuse their power, pretty much. And women, mind you, women have not invented shit. They haven't created anything. They haven't made no type of influence when it comes to humanity. They're just there to consume, abuse their power, vocalize their bullshit ass opinion because they're ruled by emotions. So they're all over the goddamn place. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and they bash men a lot, and they capitalize on their freedom to abuse their power pretty much because they're have so much emotions they can't put that shit in check. So they're all over the fucking place, and look where we're at right now, pretty much. So, but yeah, but it's just fucking annoying, man. It really is annoying. But luckily I'm very resilient, so I don't give up on people like that. I don't give up when it comes to dating. I still put myself out there. I still do the best I can to improve my communication. I do the best I can to really learn about the woman psychology and to learn about dating education, to put myself out there and to really observe women and to really see what's out there for me. But at the same time, I'm aware of how evil and how sick the average woman could be in this time in this timeline we're in. I'm aware of that because not only by the shit I've experienced, but the shit I've seen and the shit I've heard. You know, I'm not paranoid or anything like that, but without a doubt, like I can see where I can see where men are coming from when they have issues with females. Pretty much, a lot of females are not right in the head. A lot of females are just fucked up. You know, and it's sad and it's frustrating. It's annoying. You know what I'm saying? I don't respect women like that. I'm not mean to them, but I don't respect them because I know what they're capable of doing, you know? So that's the type of shit that God or the universe wanted me to see, witness, and experience, you know? Now it's up to me to really not be bitter, but more so just to see it from a higher perspective that a lot of women are not healed properly. They're not doing the healing work. They're lost. They're especially lost. They're confused and they don't know what's going on. They don't know they don't have the proper guidance pretty much. And I feel like I got to be careful on who I bring into my life or who I entertain into my life like that. So it's always important as a man to use your intuition, to know what you like, what you don't like, and to not be guarded, not be paranoid, but to really listen to your intuition. If she's right for you, then take it slow, but don't jump into connections fast because you never know what females are capable of, especially behind closed doors. So that's all I gotta say. Have a good one. Peace.